Have you ever wanted to start your own business? This is what I want to talk about in this video. I've ran a business before for 5 years with my then husband. It was in a Chinese takeaway. I live in Glasgow, Scotland. We were driving to Auchinleck in Ayrshire to and from work 6 days a week. It was more than physically demanding because we drove to work, which took about an hour during the day. We did work from a 10-hour to 16-hour shift. And then we would have to do the cleaning before we left home, before we went home, because you're working with food, which means cleaning is most important task at the end of the day. This went on for 5 years. And I remember during the drive to work, for quite a long period, I kept asking myself this same question. There has to be something better than this, because all I did was work my ass off and I didn't see any returns, any benefits back then, because I was merely fulfilling someone else's dreams and goals, which was my then husband's mum's. She wanted her son to have a business so that he could be his own boss, so that it brought him face, which lifted his ego. And Chinese people are rather egoistic because they want to save face, which again lifts their ego. It's all about fulfilling the need of the ego, and it didn't sit well with me because my needs and wants were neglected, abandoned and abused. I wanted to be a full-time mum because we had 2 young babies and I was denied of being their mother. In the Chinese culture, you are controlled by the filial piety system, and the best way to describe this is to comply, to obey, to take orders from your elders, which didn't sit well with me. So during that period, I kept asking myself, there has to be something better than this, living for someone else's dreams and goals. I got divorced at the end of 2010. I started my self-development in June 2011. At the beginning of 2016, I got into public speaking. I joined Toastmasters International, which is a non-profit global organisation for their members to practice and develop their public speaking, communication and leadership skills. From there, from being in that organisation, I realised that I could do something bigger than what I was then doing, which was very little to better myself. Even though I was starting to get into public speaking, I realised I could do more, I could do better. So from seeing other people who were in their organisation setting up their own business and working from home, then they would travel. Sometimes they would go in on site and they would earn a living. They would be able to travel. It was that caught my attention, and I wanted to do that. I wanted to have a business where I wasn't fixated in a shop, in a physical shop. I could either work from home or on site. I would get to travel because I don't enjoy the travel part. I enjoy getting to my destination part where I'm in a different country, a different city, and that appealed to me. So I am so grateful that with the ongoing support from my boyfriend, I've been able to relaunch my business that I launched during COVID that failed miserably. However, I'm doing it differently now because I have a tech support guy, as in my boyfriend. And I have his permission to share this with you. So I met my boyfriend at Toastmasters and we've become boyfriend and girlfriend. Initially we were platonic friends. We did things together. We enjoyed a lot of commonality, such as going to the theatre, travelling, going camping. And from that, romance blossomed. So when I told him that I had a dream, a goal of setting up my own business and doing what he does, where he can work from home or on site and he gets to travel. So he's been helping me in the last few months to relaunch my business as a women's empowerment coach. The launch date is set for Tuesday, 25th of August, where I will be facilitating my first 1 hour free online workshop, and it's called Embrace Your Voice. There I will be helping attendees to explore what got you here, what's holding you back from speaking up, and how can you start speaking up with confidence and without guilt. The reason why I chose to be a women's empowerment coach is from my lived experiences of being abandoned, being abused, being manipulated by my culture, by my dysfunctional parents, dysfunctional family setup, where girls are taught to be soft, gentle, quiet, agreeable. None of that ever sat well with me since I could talk. I was a rebel with a cause. I loved to rebel against the cultural and social expectations. I would argue with my mum and dad until I was blue in the face, but they would suppress me and shut me down every time I spoke up for myself. I remember getting the finger pointed at me. Don't you dare talk back when I'm talking to you. That was the regular from my parents. Whenever I spoke up for myself, they would shut me down with this. Don't you ever talk back to me when I am talking to you. I didn't have the right to speak up for myself. So from being suppressed for the majority of my life, when I got into Toastmasters International, I realised that I have a voice and I deserve to voice my opinions. I deserve to be heard. I deserve to be seen. I deserve to express myself. And gradually, one conversation, one speech at a time, I spoke up for myself. And I realised that the majority of women like myself don't have the confidence to speak up for themselves, similar to my lived experiences, because they have been taught similar things to myself. Women have to be gentle, soft, agreeable. You shouldn't speak up. People are going to give you labels. You're too difficult. You're too demanding. You're too direct. You're too aggressive. You're too loud. Oh, all these labels need to go. So I'm on a mission to empower women to stop playing small, speak up, be heard, and own your voice. That's my mission. So I'm excited to share that with you.